I'm a hippo.
Broadcast Hippo Digital Media.
Come on!
Hippo.
Broadcast Hippo Digital Media.
And now, our feature presentation.
This is Ed McMahon. And now, here's Andrew.
Andrew Z. I love that Andrew Z. I said Andrew Z. In the morning, it's time to wake up. Andrew Z. In the morning, yeah. Come on.
Good morning. How are you doing? It's Tuesday, March 29th, 2022 of the year of our Lord. I'm Andrew Z. We got Donnie P, Chris Tifo, Dexter, and they're lucky they're not in studio. Slap him like Will Smith slaps Chris Rock.
Ah!
All right, let's get this show going. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to it. Love every one of you.
Andrew Z. In the morning.
Woo! The Andrew Z in the Morning Sausage Fest. What is going on?
It is.
Hey,
I know.
I'm not mad at it.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. Hi, everyone. Here's what I want to do. The first thing is, how much do we want to talk about Will Smith and Chris Rock? Because there's really only two sides. Either you're the Chris Rock side, where Will Smith is toxic masculinity, shouldn't have done it, or you're on the Will Smith side saying he's defending his wife. There's really no other side, right?
There's a little bit of gray.
Okay,
Jada's
you
side.
believe in the gray. I know you believe in the gray.
Let's just talk a little bit about the gray. Then let's not go the typical what everyone else is doing.
Okay.
Here's the third one I definitely want to talk about. The thing was not fucking staged. That is so
Definitely not.
No. It's so annoying. They're like, oh, the Oscar ratings have been down. So first of all, they don't give two fucks about the Oscar show. What do Chris Rock and Will Smith care about the Oscar show ratings? They don't. Number one, and it wasn't even going to affect this year. It will affect next year's ratings. They don't care about that. Number one. Number two, they're both very lovable guys by everyone. Okay, so all they did right now is split their fan base. Like, there's nothing that helped them, and everyone says, "Oh, any publicity is good publicity." Take it from example number one, me. That is not true.
Tell that to Jared from Subway.
Yeah, or Jared from Subway. Yeah, that's just not true. So there was no reasonable reason why that would be staged. You could see it wasn't staged. Yeah, Will Smith was laughing before, but the problem, he was laughing before because you know how you laugh at something and then it sits in, like you're just being courteous. Yeah, everyone else is laughing, so you're just gonna start laughing. You're like, ha, and then you look over at your wife, she's pissed. You kind of feel what he's saying, and you're like, oh fuck, this dude. And then that's what happened. He wasn't laughing because he was in on it. It's just I can't. It's the stupidity of that.
Well, I mean, yeah. Will Smith is certain movies aside, Will Smith is a lot better actor than laughing and then going instantly mad for a staged event. Like he would at least stay consistent for the whole thing, knowing the camera was going to be on him.
So does anyone want to talk about it being staged, or is that just silliness? And then anything you want to talk about, guys, jump in right now.
I'll tell you the gray area that I thought of was I mean, I could definitely, sorry about that. I can definitely see how pissed, I get it. I get it that he was that mad, but I mean, obviously it was just so far out of line that it's hard. You can't defend him and say, oh yeah, fuck around and find out is what people were saying on Facebook. But no, it's not find out. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you smack somebody, it's not going to end there. You know what I mean? Like, they're friends, so it'll most likely end there. But any other situation. Friends?
Yeah, they are. And Will Smith apologized too.
I don't buy that apology for one damn second.
I
don't know.
Stop.
No, I'm sorry. 24, 48 hour later apologies that have been drafted, edited, approved, redrafted, re-edited, approved again by a committee of staff is not a real apology.
But you don't get to decide how he really feels,
PR.
Chris.
No.
It might be, but you don't get to decide.
No. Yes, I do. Yes,
No,
I do.
don't.
Because first off, the only one he needs to apologize to is Chris Rock. He doesn't need to apologize to the public. He didn't do anything to us. Nobody's going to stop seeing Will Smith movies because he smacked Chris Rock that didn't already not go see his movie.
That's not true.
He didn't need to apologize to the public.
Hold on.
Even then, what it should have been him in front of a camera without a script, not a canned fucking drafted letter that he posted on Facebook.
But he apologized. Okay, most of what he said live when he made his acceptance speech. So he didn't change. Not like he changed. It was a very similar speech, other than he added the Chris Rock part. Now, if I'm at a party and I slap you, Tiefel, I'm going to apologize to everyone because I fucked the party up. So for him to apologize to the people watching, because you screwed the mood up of the party.
He didn't fuck anything up. Chris Rock stumbled a little bit. They did his award. They moved on with the show. They had the after party where everybody looked happy and had a great time. Literally nothing got screwed up.
Have you not been to a party where like the one dude just goes out of line? You're like, oh, and it screws. And then
but it's not a party. Hold on, they weren't at a party.
Then everyone's like, I'm gonna go home now. It kind of just ruins the mood and the vibe.
But they weren't at a party, and no one went home, and everyone went to the after party.
Or like when you're at a party and you and your girl get in a fight, and then
but you're bringing up a bad example.
No, go ahead, Dexter.
So Chris, that's part of it too. If you're gonna treat it like they do in the streets, you have to at least do the verbal warning shot first. Like Will did it backwards. Like he went up and bitch slapped and then sat down and threatened him verbally and basically told him what was gonna go down. You don't do that. No, you let them say what they say. You do the verbal warning shot. Then you text your boy, say meet me outside in the parking lot, and that's how you take care of it. Or you wait until the after party and then you throw down.
Yeah, let me be clear. I am not defending Will Smith on here. What he did was wrong. I'm not defending his actions. What I'm saying though is he didn't do anything to you or I. He didn't do anything to the public. If anything, he messed with the Academy. He owes them an apology. No. He owes Chris Rock an apology. He might even owe his wife an apology about the incident.
And Questlove.
But the evening moved on just fine as scheduled. The after party happened. Everyone had a good time. Literally nothing was ruined. Nothing in our life has ever changed. He doesn't owe us an apology.
Okay, you're wrong. Let me just say that you're wrong.
And tell me what
I am going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. You don't know. You don't get to tell people how they feel. I didn't even watch the Oscars, and I woke up and I was pissed off that he did it. I love Will Smith. I was pissed. I was so hot that I sent 3 messages in our text chat, then deleted them, and then wrote another one. I was pissed. It affected me. Yeah. I was mad. I was mad that he did it. I felt bad for him. I felt bad for Chris Rock. I was upset that he did it. I am going to forgive him, but I am pissed off that he did it. I'm going to forgive him because I get it, but it wasn't cool.
I feel bad for Chris Rock too. And here's the thing too. What if it was Jason Momoa? Would Will Smith then have gone up there and bitch slapped Jason Momoa? I don't think so. We tend to be a little tougher.
I kind of want to see that.
I kind of want to see Jason Momoa tell jokes.
We tend to be a little tougher when the person on the other end, you think you can kick their ass. I think you're a little more in check when you're not sure.
Well, the point I wanted to make when everyone was defending Will Smith was, I'm like, okay, so what if Amy Schumer makes that joke? Because she's just as edgy or more edgy than Chris Rock. Is it cool if he goes up and smacks her? Oh, then now we draw the line because
you're right.
Because it's a woman.
We can't divulge into a society of we don't like what you said, so we're going to slap the fuck out of you. We can't get to that. Go ahead, Dexter.
Well, and clearly, you can't blame the person who got bitch slapped for getting bitch slapped. I mean, that just shouldn't be happening. But I will say one of the things that I read was now live show, huge production. Most things are scripted. This one joke, apparently, that he did was just an off-the-cuff ad-lib on a live TV show broadcast to Australia. Like, you don't do that. Like, people need to, even if you do a comedy set on Netflix, you have to write it down. It has to get, reviewed, workshopped, and you just don't do that on a live show.
Yeah. I know. Well, and here's the thing that I heard last night. Yesterday morning, I was listening to Ricky Smiley. I like Ricky Smiley. He's great. Black comedian. It's a black show. And he had a black comic on there. The black comic's like, look, this is they finally turned this show over to an all black production crew. A guy in charge of it, everyone's black, and 2 Negroes get up there and turn it into the Source Awards.
You gotta be
World
careful
Star
recording
Hip Hop.
that
I'm dead.
in case people don't hear your disclaimer first. Andrew.
Anyone
can cut that disclaimer out.
I feel like that's a quote you should have handed over to Dexter.
How dare you?
Well, it's just ironic because it's like the dude's been waiting his whole career for an Oscar, and the night he finally gets it, the big news is not that he got an Oscar for Best Actor, it's that he bitch slapped somebody. Like,
well, now all of Andrew's enemies have a soundbite of him that they can cut out of him just saying Negroes. That's just not good for him.
Let me ask you guys a question. I tend to get emotional. I can't even name how many times that I've done something, and 2 hours later, I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? Why did I say that? Sure. Why did I do that? Why, and I feel Will Smith is that kind of person. And I did feel that the apology was genuine, but I just feel like he lost his mind. And,
I just don't buy celebrity apologies when they're 24, 48 hours later and it's a canned statement.
I know.
Well,
we can't afford celebrity apologies. They're too expensive.
All right. So has anyone ever done that though, where they're like, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have done that? Or it happens all the time, doesn't it? Or is it just me? Am I the only one that happens to?
I mean, it happens to me, but it doesn't happen all the time. If it's happening all the time to you, you might want to reevaluate your life, Andrew.
It happens a lot of times.
Well, you can do things you can't take back. You can also say things that you try to take back,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Someone you care about.
I wish I wouldn't have said that, all right. I wish I wouldn't have called you a bitch, or whatever.
Well, here, that's the thing. I thought of this earlier when you were trying to explain to Chris, like ruining a party. It's usually like a guy and a girl that get in a fight over something, and it just gets so awkward for everybody,
I know.
And then they don't leave and they stay there. And then they start mingling separately, and you're like, "So are you guys cool? Can I talk to him? Am I still friends with you?
When you go grab another drink, and then you just get a good spot and you watch. Like that's part of the party.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, it's a good thing, and that does happen where people, they ruin the party and people leave early, but it doesn't apply to this situation because literally none of that happened.
Okay.
It happened in the entire world, Chris. I don't know. The whole world it happened. It was the party.
No, but tell me who left the Oscar audience after the incident? Who didn't show up to the party because of the incident? Who did any of that stuff?
You're not understanding. You don't get invited to parties, so you don't get it. But it's a vibe.
Okay. It's a vibe. What? Okay, but you saw all the footage of everything. What specifically was ruined? Who didn't have a good time?
Listen,
who didn't finish out the awards? Who didn't get
Chris,
the awards?
Chris didn't have a good time.
Yeah, apparently. Many people said that it ruined the vibe in the room. Like they're like, oh man, it killed
the vibe in the room where they're all drinking, laughing, and having a good time and mingling. What other vibe would there have been?
Oh my God, Donnie P.
I feel like
would it have broke out into an orgy had it not been for him slapping Chris Rock or something?
I feel like your take is that it wasn't a big deal, and I mean we're just so far past that.
No. My take isn't that it was a big deal. No. My take isn't that it wasn't a big deal. My take is that the incident involves Jada, Will, and Chris Rock. That's it, and the Academy, and the people that put on the show.
If you're
that is it. It doesn't involve. All we were witnesses to something. The show went on. The party went on. Everybody had a good. Literally nothing of the evening was ruined.
I'm gonna try one more time. Let's say we're at Bass Pro Shop. Me and Colleen are at Bass Pro Shop, okay? And we get in a fight in front of people at Bass Pro Shop, okay? And you're like, oh, you guys get into it, whatever. And there's people around. It's very natural to apologize to the people that witnessed the altercation, whether they were involved or not. It was awkward. You'd be like, oh man, I'm sorry that happened here. If you lose your mind, you don't pay attention to what's around you. But when you're out of your lose your mind mode, you do apologize.
Which he did that night. Which he did that night. He apologized to the Academy. He apologized to Chris Rock. He did that stuff that night. He literally did it in his speech. He apologized for the entire thing.
Not to Chris Rock.
Not to Chris. Yeah.
Well, okay, excuse me, but he apologized for the whole thing, which is apologizing to everyone in the room, like in your example with the Bass Pro Shop fight. He apologized to everyone. He took care of that at that moment and everything. Then any apology between him and Chris Rock is between him and Chris Rock. It doesn't need to be public.
Well, I don't even know what you're arguing right now, so let's just move.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, cool. What the hell? But anyway, I'm cool with both of them. Like I said, Chris,
I will forgive
Will
him.
lost his, exactly. Will lost his mind. We'll forgive him. Shit happens. It was his wife. I did feel bad for Chris. And here's the thing: I felt bad for Chris because he didn't do. He get bitch slapped too. At least punch him. This is the worst. It's like he's so little. That's a more disrespectful to slap someone.
Well, then if you really watch it back to when Will was doing that slow walk up to bitch slap him, you could see, if you look at Chris's face, you could just see like every thought that was going through his head one by one. Like, oh, that's my friend Will. Oh, why is he getting on stage?
Smiling.
Oh, why is this arm coming up towards my face?
And here's the thing, and people are like, well, he's smiling. Well, he's smiling because he doesn't want to come off as crazy. Have you guys ever where you do something, but you don't want to act like you're out of control? So he's trying to control himself. He's an actor. He can go up and smile and still slap someone. Number one. Number two is what was number two? There's 10 scenarios of him going up there, and none of them involve physical violence. Like, you think he's going to take the mic? Hey, can you apologize, Chris? That was my wife. I could see Kanye West has done that. It's very common. It's awkward, but it's common for someone to go up there and just will grab the mic or do some.
I don't know about you, but if I'm walking up to somebody knowing I'm about to slap the shit out of them, I'm probably going to be smiling too. Just keep big old grin on my face. Just
really?
Boom, get them right out. Just because I'm just thinking about how funny it'll be.
That's your serial killer shit right there.
Let's just all agree he did get a piece of him. That was a pretty.
He recovered quickly too. Like I do question how bad the slap was, because Chris Rock recovered pretty darn quickly.
Well, because they're both rich. If it were me, I would have fallen on the floor. I would have said that I had a concussion and whiplash. I would take that straight to court and gotten some money.
All right. So anyway, I think we're good.
If you're going to assault somebody, assault somebody within your own economic range is the lesson in this.
Yeah.
That's not bad advice.
All right. So anyway, Donna Costas, in my opinion, is this: Will Smith just made an open season to hit comedians if they don't like or are offended by the jokes.
Only the MCs, the feature, and the headliners are safe.
Yeah, we can't start just if you don't like something. You can't just beat somebody up.
So there is something that I have been seeing about this thing that isn't the normal stuff, or anything, is people talking about how they were traumatized by the event. Like, the only real person that's going to be traumatized, if at all, is going to be Chris Rock. He's the one that was. If anything, you were triggered from a previous trauma by witnessing the event, and you're triggered, but you weren't traumatized by watching Chris Rock.
I'm going to help you into 2022 real quick, bro.
Real quick, Donnie. How can you be so wrong about everything, Chris? It's so weird.
I'm not wrong on that. You can get you can like, if you have previous trauma, you can get triggered by it, but you're not getting traumatized by watching Chris Rock get slapped.
If I watch someone get murdered, that's going to try. Even though I wasn't murdered and I wasn't the murderer or the murderee, I'm still going to be traumatized. It was very traumatizing. It was odd. It was weird. It made me feel weird because we were watching it live. Go ahead, Donnie. What were you going to say?
It's not up to you how someone feels, Chris, and how someone processes an experience or anything they read or view. It's not up to you, bro. You can disagree with them, but you don't get to decide how they feel, okay? So don't try to take it away.
That is true.
I'm sorry. If you're getting traumatized by watching Chris Rock get slapped, you need to reevaluate your life.
Okay, that's fine. That's a fair statement.
It's a misuse
you didn't tell them that
word.
they didn't.
It's a misuse of the word.
Or don't come to New York, because you will see people get slapped on the subway all the time. I feel bad for you if you feel that way.
There is some legitimate real ass trauma out there and real trauma victims out there that I feel for and everything. There's literally no real trauma victim from. There is no real trauma victim from watching Chris Rock get slapped.
Anyone
if he
listening?
got murdered, I'd agree with Andrew. If he got murdered on the stage, yeah, there might be a couple of people getting trauma.
So anyone listening or watching, before you decide that you have trauma in your life, you need to check with Chris Tiefel and to see if it's warranted trauma or if it's not warranted.
Chris has obviously never been bitch slapped. So
oh no, I have been sucker punched. Seventh grade, walking home from school, this kid walks up to me, says my name, and then just boom, right in my nose.
Did he not like your name?
Does anyone not believe that?
No, to this day, I have no idea who he was. He didn't even go to my school.
Mystery person.
I have no idea. Like I think he might have been a little older than me, but I don't know.
You're more like Chris Rock than we thought.
You know what's more surprising about this story is that it hasn't happened more often in your life.
I'm not as big of an asshole as you all think I seem to think I am.
No, we know you're not.
We love you, Chris. We
do.
We all
a
love
lot of you.
Although I will say that if I was Chris Rock in that situation, I would have been done and walked off the stage because, like you can body shot me all day, but you hit me in the face and I'm done. You're the bigger man. You won. I'm done. I'm gone.
Oh, I agree. That's what was so amazing about it, that he just kept going. Like I was doing stand up one time. I got hit with a lemon wedge someone took out of their drink and hit me in the face, and I was froze. And I tried to go on. I'm like, I guess I'm done. I'll see you guys later. Bye. It's my time.
Yeah, I've seen somebody punch like that down in Lima a few years ago. There was an incident where one of the comedians, somebody walked up on stage and punched him. When I did the Toledo prison, I had a prisoner act like he was about to throw a chair at me before he got looked at by a guard while I was on stage. So that was I've been there.
Look, guys,
don't hit your comedian.
At this rate, I feel like comedy shows are just going to be via Zoom. Like these comedians just need to be protected at all costs.
You remember the old movie The Blues Brothers where they were performing and there was like a big cage in front of them?
Roadhouse.
Yeah, Roadhouse.
They had to put a cage in front of them.
Don't hate your comedians. Our lives are sad enough as they are. All right, we don't need more.
Right. All right. Anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Tell a friend, like, share, do whatever you do on your things to make them the algorithms go better. I don't know how to do all of it, but if you just do it all that you know, that's great. Thank you. Dexter knows it all. He's the smart one on the show when it comes to social media. But okay. So here's the thing. I want to talk about this. I was at a McDonald's the other day and I was picking up food for the fam. And the worst job I've decided in 2022 after pandemic and unemployment so low and everyone looking for so many jobs open, the worst job is not working at McDonald's. The worst job is the McDonald's manager. Because this guy, I'm just sitting there eating and because you can hear the kitchen, it's right there. And there's this one worker's got his AirPod in. And the manager's like, "Hey, you gotta take your AirPod out." He's like, "Nope." She's like, "Hey, I need you to, take your one AirPod out." No. And she's like, "Okay, well, but what do you have over him? Are you gonna fire him? He's gonna have a job the next day. He just got fired from his worst job he's ever had. Like you can't that they need the people." At one point, she's like, I might have to send you home." Goes, "All right, I'll see you later." He was like ready to walk out. She didn't even finish. I'm gonna. She said, "No." I said, I could send you home. I didn't say I was gonna. He was already walking out of the job.
Yeah, don't start making the threat unless you're willing to either follow through or the person to take you up on it.
I was saying, what leverage do you have?
Choose your battles, man.
But what leverage do you have at McDonald's that you can get these people to stay? Because it's the worst job you could ever have.
Well, but also too, it's like I can understand in a situation like a luxury service situation or like a retail store where you have to try on clothes. Yeah. You kind of need the employees' attention and help. I mean, at McDonald's, if I can just tell you that I want a number 2 and you just put that in the system and I get it. You can have one AirPod, you can have 2, you could just be listening to music in full-on headphones. I don't care. It's McDonald's.
And that's a good point. You do it like Donnie said, you got to pick your battles. I mean, if he's got an AirPod in, as long as he's listening and can hear orders, it's okay. But really though, what leverage do you have over an employee when you're at McDonald's? They were just talking to this poor little girl that was the manager, or assistant manager, whatever, like crap, because you can't fire him because you need the employee. If you do fire them, they don't care. They want to go home. They want you to send them home because they don't want to be there. It's 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's literally my goal most days, is to get back home.
Right.
Well, I mean, management anywhere. That's like, there's a special breed of person that they do like manage other people, you know,
because if you try to fire someone at 8 a.m., they would have another job by noon. I mean, there's so many jobs out there. Like, so if you lose that leverage, and like I said, you'd have to have a really good job and be able to just be able to manage your employees anymore. McDonald's is not that job.
Well, the failure there. Oh, go ahead, Dexter.
No, just so as someone who does manage a team, especially these days, it's tough. It's tough because with everything going on in the world, you really have to be a humble leader, and you have to know your people. And a lot of times it's just, personal power. It's like, hey, you know what? Like, I know there's a lot going on, and I know I'm asking a lot, but I really, thank you a lot. It's a lot of thank yous. It's a lot of, going the extra mile for them too, so that they really want to work for you. Because I feel like so many jobs right now are just crazy, just with our mental psyches right now, especially if it's somewhere where you physically have to go into work these days.
Yeah. Go ahead, Donnie.
Well, I was just saying, and like some of the I have some really good managers, and like we get a lot of, I sell cars, which, there's a lot to it aside from, the helping the person. There's just so much that goes on when you're not with a customer. There's always more stuff. And it's like the best thing you can ever do is just be like, you know what? I get it. This is a lot. I understand. But guess what? You're doing it, and you got to do it right now.
Would you guys agree? Would you guys agree that it's probably the best time right now to be an employee? Like, you can't talk to people crazy like managers used to do back in the day. Like, you're not gonna stick. You can't get talked to like that anymore. You have to respect.
Well, I think it's important to know. Well, first, the employee has to know their own goals. And as a manager, you can help them find out what their goals are, what they want out of the job, and then the manager, if they know that, you guys can have this symbiotic relationship because you're. Most jobs like that it's not, for most people, it's not like the end. Like, they're not just going to do that. So it's a stepping stone. What's their next step? How are you going to help them get there? How's that job helping them get there? Because if they keep jumping from entry position to entry position, they just keep restarting, they're going to be on that step for longer than they could be if they just, focused in on what their goals are. So you can convince them, okay, you can leave. But if you really want to start this over again, let me help you get to where you want to be. Let's figure this out. Let's work together.
Go ahead,
I think the person has to know.
Yeah, and just sometimes too, just in jobs I've had in the past as an employee, sometimes my goals were bills, brunches, and vacations. And that's what I was striving towards. So that's why I did the work.
That's okay.
Like,
that could be it. That's fine.
But it's interesting, Dexter, because now I've been talking to several people, and they get people that like, usually you want people focused on your job. Like, if you own a company or run a company, you want us to be your primary focus, other than your family, of course. But nowadays, work is like almost like last place, and you're getting gig workers. Like, they're okay with gig workers. Like, if you have 4 or 5 people and they're going to do other things, they're going to DoorDash and they're going to do some work for you, and then they're starting their own business. It's like you can't get 100% focus out of people anymore. You just have to realize that it's changed.
Companies created this thing themselves, like McDonald's. They'll do you part-time, so you get like 20 to 30 hours a week, but then they want you to have open availability 24/7 on there. So they make it impossible. So if you get another job, then they make you choose between that job and the McDonald's job, because they want you to have open availability. You can't get another job is the thing with them. So they've created this. You've never seen this before?
No.
Like Walmart's done it, McDonald's done it. Like they'll work you as much as they can part time, but then they'll request that you have open availability. So if you go in there and be like, I have this other job, they either won't hire you or they'll make you choose.
Like post-pandemic, I've never heard of this.
I'm talking about before this. That's what I'm saying. Is companies are having to adapt to new ways, and it's going very slowly and causing a lot of problems.
Go ahead, Dexter.
Well, yeah, I guess similar to that, one of the things that I'm seeing and experiencing, I feel like we all are, because we all use services and a lot of fast food and all that stuff, is a lot of these businesses are saying, well, during shutdown or during the peak of COVID, we were able to get all this done with about half of the people. So let's save some money and cut people down to part-time. And we don't really need to fill those jobs, but we all feel it. Like the consumer feels it, and then the other employees feel it because they look around and they realize, wait a minute, we used to have double the staff, so my workload wasn't insane. We don't anymore. And management isn't hiring additional people and not giving me a raise. So I'm actually doing more work than I really should be doing. So in those situations, I understand them feeling frustrated.
Yeah, the main problem is companies view labor cost as an expense, not an asset. And
right.
So they truly like cut it down.
I was talking to somebody the other day in the olden days, companies gave a shit about their employees. So it was a partnership. They would give you pensions and they would give you vacations and they would give you medical.
If anything, unions fought for that.
Not all the businesses were unionized, but yeah, unions did.
Not all, but unions set a trend.
Yeah, you're right.
It was that whole getting pensions and negotiating your salary and stuff was our compromise for not pulling the business owners out onto the streets.
Yeah, but business owners did care about their employees at one point. Now they don't. They don't give two shits about you. And so in reverse, I mean, that's where we're at is, well, we don't give two shits about the companies then because they don't give two shits about us. Nobody cares about anybody. But in the old days, you were proud to work somewhere and the company took care of you and gave you respect. And that's just a lot of that is lost nowadays. I think when it happened when more of these companies went public and your goal was to make more money for your stockholders and to cut because you could make more money for the stockholders and it wasn't about doing the best work or taking care of your employees. And it's been screwed up. And maybe this new trend of, hey, I don't need this job, there's 10 others out there, maybe that'll start to turn it back towards the worker a little bit, because we've been getting fucked for like 2 or 3 decades. Go ahead, Dexter.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So, when the job market is one of those where it's very, in favor of employers, then they leverage that, you know.
Sure.
And now it's seeming like, just from my LinkedIn alone, every day, so-and-so starting new position at blah, blah, blah. Like it's one of those where the jobs are out there now. And jobs that people, at least feel good about accepting. It's either same role, they're making more money, or they're actually able to move into a field that they've always wanted to work in because jobs are opening up. So it is one of those where employers need to wake up and know that there needs to be a reason for especially good employees to want to stay. And you have to give it to them. And
that scam of, hey, we're going to fuck you because we hold your health insurance hostage. That scam is gone now. And they held that over our heads for a long time to where, we don't want to leave because we don't want to screw up our health insurance and got to wait 90 days and it's a pain in the ass and blah, blah, blah. Well, now a lot of that is gone because you can get health insurance now outside of your employer. And so that's taken a lot away of their leverage or whatever. All right, let's get into TFL's WTF News with Ebenezer, because I know Donnie's got to get out of here quick, probably any minute, but go ahead, Chris. Take it away.
All right, well, allow me to take you to Australia and introduce you to Bill. Bill is known as the Coffin Confessor. He's a private investigator that has carved out a niche market in the private investigator realm in which he will work with dying people. People that are on their deathbed, people that are terminally ill, and he will investigate things that they're curious about, that they want to know more about, suspicions that they've had, things like that. and then they will crash their funeral with the information. So he recalls.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
He charges about $2 to $10 grand per client. On there. So his first client, Graham, he had cancer. He was on his deathbed. He was, was weak and everything. And in their discussions and everything, Graham suspected that his best friend was trying to get with his wife while he was on his deathbed.
Mm-hmm.
So he investigated it, found it to be true, and went to the funeral and gave a eulogy in which he outed the man's best friend as trying to sleep with his wife while he was on his deathbed. The friend quickly left the funeral, and there were 3 other people that he was requested to remove from the funeral because the decedent hadn't seen them in 30 years, and it was fake for them to be there. So
wow.
And so he does things like this, where he will go there and he will out uncomfortable information. Sometimes it's not all bad.
I hate it. I love
it.
Pretty soon, I start buying tickets to funerals and have concession stands.
I know. Like Josh says, that's got to be a new reality show on Discovery Plus.
Right. Talk about gig economy. This guy made his own gig. He invented his own gig.
The funerals.
Does it surprise you guys? Speaking of which, is how many people now are doing their own thing, like trying to make it go of it. Some of them kept their real jobs. Some of them don't even keep their real jobs. But we're trying to make anything we can a business. Anything we do, if everyone is turning it into a business. And I'm not hating because I'm the worst one of them. But it's so funny now that everyone's a business owner.
Been doing this.
I did it before it was cool. Oh shit! People.
Bringing you over to the DC swamp, you guys know Representative Madison Cawthorn, right? He's the youngest member of Congress, a Republican from North Carolina. He's recently in the news because he had made remarks calling Zelensky a thug and calling his government corrupt as they're being invaded by Russian forces, which drew ire from both sides of the aisle on there. So now he's in the news again because he claims, without naming names, that he was approached by DC elites and invited to an orgy, and that DC elites have done cocaine in front of him.
That I believe.
Yeah.
On there. So
people do drugs. That's why that's out there.
Especially in DC.
He goes, the sexual perversion that goes on in Washington. I mean, being kind of a young guy in Washington, average age is probably 60 or 70. I look at all these people, a lot of them I've looked up to my entire life. I've always paid attention to politics. Then all of a sudden you get invited to, oh, hey, we're having a sexual get together at one of our homes. You should come. Apparently that was the invite on there. He says a Republican lawmaker also said that some of the people who are leading the movement to try and remove addiction in our country have done a key bump of cocaine in front of him.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So, take that as you will.
Well, so I guess a new gig now can be making, I guess, evites to sexual gatherings for people in DC.
Yes.
Somebody start that business. Apparently it's hot right now.
Little animation of a bowl with keys going into it,
Oh, yeah.
Has
The
anyone
last time you went to an orgy, the 70s? Little key bowl?
Has anyone thought of starting a gig that like I think this would be a good business but hasn't done it yet?
I got it. Orgy DJ or orgy. Okay.
Wait, orgy DJ.
That's a very special playlist.
Yes. Well, you know how wedding DJs, they have activities to get people involved, because if you think about it, not all orgies go smooth. It could be a little awkward. People are standing on the walls,
You need a hype man.
You need a hype man. You need activities, I guess,
Activities director.
Red Rover
for orgy.
Red Rover. Bend Karen on over.
Yes. I love it.
For our next story, we take you over to San Jose, California, where about 2:44 a.m. on Sunday morning, police responded to a homicide. While they were attending to that incident, they noticed people running out of a restaurant down the block. That restaurant being the La Victoria Taqueria. People just running out of the restaurant, and then they heard news. They heard that there was somebody there with a gun.
Uh-huh.
So they rushed over to where they found a man coming out of the restaurant with a gun, and did what cops do, and opened fire. The man was hit once. He's in the hospital, non-life-threatening injuries. But the mistake comes in the fact that while he was the one with the gun at the moment, he wasn't the perpetrator. He was the one who disarmed the perpetrator and was holding the perpetrator at bay for the police to show up. So, oopsie.
Oopsie. Is that what he said? Oopsie?
No. The police say that they're going to be holding a press conference in the next day or so to clear up misreporting that has happened since the incident and everything. So basically, they're going to be doing a lot of mea culpas.
Yeah, for sure.
All
right. Final story.
Final story takes us to Thailand, because as we all know, all the fun stuff happens in Thailand.
Really?
There.
Sounds like a party.
I like the food.
One night in Bangkok. And
I just love that song.
So, 45-year-old man in Biram, in Thailand, is recovering from an injury. He had reportedly told his wife. His name is and I can't. I'm assuming this is how you pronounce it, Boon Choi.
Okay.
He had told his wife Chinita, who works in the fields as a sugarcane collector, to expect a nice meal when she got home from her hard day of work. He was going to make her a nice meal. So she came home expecting, a nice meal, some intimate time with her husband of 21 years. Well, Boon Choi forgot. And he ended up going out with his buddies and getting drunk.
Oh no!
Now, Chinita.
I had $1 for every time I ruined a time I promised.
Boon Choi.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, and Chinita was obviously upset, and she stayed up, waiting for him to come home. And when he finally came home, and he came through the door, and he saw his loving, adoring wife of the 21 years, and probably hit him. Oh man. I forgot about the dinner. But before that thought could fully form in his brain, she shot him with a spear gun.
Whoa!
Oh,
in his crotch. In his crotch.
Probably fishing.
That is beyond a bitch slap.
Yeah. Dude, that's from his chair.
Shot him right in the crotch with a spear gun.
Now let me ask people.
Hook, line, and dinker.
Let me ask you, people. So let's say Will Smith shoots a spear gun at Chris Rock, right? Am I allowed to be traumatized then, or no? Am I still not allowed? I want to know
if he got Chris Rock in the groin, yes.
Okay,
if he got Chris Rock in the groin, yes.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, now to Boon Choi's credit, he was so drunk, he didn't realize the extent of the injury. So he didn't seek medical attention until the next morning when he had sobered up. Ended up needing 17 stitches to fix little Boon Choi.
Little Boon Choi.
Oh God.
But the craziest thing about this story, they're staying together. They have no plans. They have no plans on divorcing. Apparently, they are ride or die, and she didn't get him this time.
Well, I mean, I feel like dating would be a little bit hard at this point for him.
Right.
I just, and that goes back to the party thing. Is like you have these couples that fight all the time and they stay together. Or now, man, there's just so many choices out there. I know women around me that stay with these shitty dudes that they complain about constantly. And I'm like, why don't you just leave? And then they make an excuse for him. Well, he does a lot of okay. Well, then either stop complaining about him or leave. I don't understand. It just drives me. And it's happened a lot to me lately with a lot of different women that are just like, oh, I can't. All he does is sit at home, and I'm working, and he's playing video games, and he does this, and he does that, and he messed my car up, and he just lays. I'm like, well, just go. There's plenty of options out there. Just go. I don't know.
There's plenty of women out there without a spear gun in their hand.
Yeah. She's got a spear gun. Bong Choi, get the fuck out of there. You shouldn't lose little Bong Choi just because you forgot a meal. Come on.
Well, I have a feeling that if her go-to response was spear gun to the nuts, that this was not the first mistake that Bon Choi had made.
I know.
Spear guns by the door, just ready.
Yeah, I know. Every time Bon Choi fucks up, pull the spear gun.
Like I doubt that was the first go-to consequence for his mess ups.
So you think she's just so fat. I'm like, I'm so fed up with fucking Bong Choi. This dude, every single time we have for 20 years, every time we've had something, he's screwed it up. I'm pulling out the spear gun.
It's very, very rare that you go from 0 to spear gun on an incident like that. That is a progression of frustration.
But kudos to her aim.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever notice when you're with someone for a long time, and it goes like, I don't know, when you're coming to the end of the relationship, I've had this problem where you come to the end and you just really don't like each other, but you try to work it out. But it goes from like, hey, did you make that coffee? Why didn't you make the coffee? Fuck you. You're like, whoa, it went from 0 to fuck you really quickly.
Well,
I don't think that has to be at the end. That just has to be.
Yeah. Why are you trying to talk to them before they had their coffee?
You know what I mean? It's like you're just so fed up with that person and their bullshit. It just takes so little, and it like you're over. I don't know. Your overreaction to everything.
Or they just hit you with that tone, and you're like, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, but I'm gonna ask you to ask me a different way. Can you just try that one more time?
That's where it's a bad sign on relationship stuff. All right, thank you, T-Full. Thank you. I don't think I could have lived without the Bong Choi story. Now, am I allowed to be traumatized over the Bong Choi story, or am I not allowed to be traumatized?
You didn't witness it. You're good.
So I can't be traumatized, even though you told me the story.
Yeah. If you were in the room with Chinita and Bong Choi, then I would give it to you.
All right, sounds good.
What if you watched it on TV?
Dude, if she had filmed it, you better believe that I would have shared it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, T-Full. That is WTF News. Ebenezer Bushrod, Chris T-Full, Donnie P, Dexter. Dexter, how can we find you?
I am on TikTok at DexVidal4.
DexVidal4. Bye, everybody. We'll see you guys.
You can find me at your local Taco Bell
next week. Bye, everybody.
I'm a hippo.
Broadcast Hippo. Digital media.
Come on!